Kia ora, this is Arun Jacob, your friendly and frank licensed New Zealand immigration advisor as well as education advisor, coming live once again from the beautiful city of Hamilton, New Zealand. Yeah, great start to another week. We are back on Monday, and I guess a lot of you must be having your Monday blues. I certainly am. But yeah, it's good to start another week and have good start to the week. Hope all of you had a good weekend and you did some interesting things. Mine was pretty good. I actually invited some of the members of the Indian cricket team who were here in Hamilton, New Zealand, because they were playing a 3 day practice match here in Hamilton, and they were quite chilled out. And I have a contact with one of the senior members of the cricket team. His name is Sridhar, and Sridhar is somebody from my hometown back in India. We are both from Hyderabad. So Sridhar is currently the fielding coach of the Indian cricket team. Not a good start. I've started coughing already. Somewhat I should settle it down. So yeah, I got in touch with Sridhar, who is the fielding coach of the Indian cricket team, and he was generous and kind enough to come to my home along with Girish, who is the manager of the team while they're on this tour of New Zealand. And Girish is also from Hyderabad. So, we had a fantastic catch up, and it was awesome to talk about the good old days in Hyderabad. Before it was this big bustling city that it has become now. So, and considering we were all around the same age group, it was fantastic to sort of rewind a bit of history and look back upon our good old growing up days in Hyderabad. And so, along with Sridhar and Girish, there was also Vikram Rathod, who is the batting coach for India. So Vikram came as well. He's also an ex Test player for India, and he played some one-day matches for India as well. I think in the early 2000s. So Vikram is now the batting coach for India. So he came along as well, and we also had Vihari, who is one of the current players for India. So Vihari was here, and he is going to be playing in the next test match. And then I had some of my friends locally who came along from Auckland, and yeah, my good friend and member of Parliament from Hamilton, Jamie Strange. He was here in at my home as well on Saturday. It was a fantastic evening, of great conversations about cricket. And there was Kaushik, R. Kaushik, who is a very famous cricket writer and journalist. And if you just go to Google and put R. Kaushik cricket, and you can see that he has written a lot of stuff about cricket, and he's considered one of the most knowledgeable people about Indian cricket. So, Kaushik, he is the man who also wrote the autobiography of VVS Lakshman. For him, VVS Lakshman, as you know, is a very famous Indian cricketer. So Kaushik was there. So we had some great conversations. So fantastic evening with good food, nice drinks, and yeah, and some amazing cricket conversations. And they came and spent about 4 hours in my home, and we had a great time, all of us together. And then of course, I went and dropped them back to the hotel. And the last 3 4 days has been exciting for us here in Hamilton because the Indian cricket team was in town, and they were playing this practice match, which was not very competitive. So they were all very they were quite relaxed and chilled out, and so the AJV office is right next to the hotel where the Indian team was playing, sorry, staying, and the my team in Hamilton were very excited to keep seeing the Indian cricketers going in and out of the hotel, and because New Zealand is such a chilled out country, and especially Hamilton is such a chilled out place that a lot of these cricketers who are normally mobbed back in India or other places, they were just chilling. They were walking around the streets, and they took what where they've recently introduced something in New Zealand called lime scooters, which are like these little powered scooters where you can kind of go from point A to point B. Instead of walking, you can take one of those lime scooters, which will travel on the footpaths, and you can take them around. So it was interesting to see a lot of the Indian cricketers having fun and taking the lime scooters and just getting around and just being normal young people. I spotted Virat and his wife Anushka as well. They were also on the lime scooters, and so where our office is located in Hamilton is a very strategic location because we're right on the most important street in Hamilton, and so a lot of these guys would walk in and out of their hotel, and they have to cross our office before they went off to get their drinks or whatever else. Yeah, it was very cool. So yeah, very good. So that was my weekend. I hope all of you had a lovely weekend. I can, as always, as every week, I will, obviously give a little bit of banter about my weekend before we get into the serious business of answering your questions and answers about New Zealand education and migration. But I'll start off like every week, showing my license. Let me get it out. There you go. Yep, there's my license. It says due for renewal shortly. I need to renew it before the 21st of March of this year. So it's an annual process where a licensed immigration advisor like myself and the rest of my colleagues on the team, like Mary and Tulika and Navya and Shireen, we are the five licensed advisors in the company at the moment. So we need to keep renewing our license year on year to keep it active so that we can come online week after week and give all you wonderful boys and girls and men and women some fantastic advice about moving to New Zealand and making this beautiful country your new home. So that's who we are, and I can see my beautiful people from Team HV. A lot of them have joined in again for this live session. They support all of us wherever we're going in the going live. So, but the entire team is kind of supporting us in the back end on Skype. And today is the birthday of one of our colleagues called Vijay Lakshmi, who is one of the visa officers in Team AJB. So, yep, happy birthday, Vijaya, and wish you many, many more. And thank you for being part of Team AJB, and hope you will be one of those people who will go on to become part of history. Because as a team, we want to create this history, not just for New Zealand, but hopefully we will go very global shortly in a few years' time from now. So yeah, that's us, and some questions have started coming in. So which means I can stop this big long banter and get on with the actual task of answering these questions. So excuse me. Question one. So I'm coming live, guys and girls, on Facebook. I'm coming live on the AJV Global Facebook page, but I think my team would have already shared it now to the AJV Global group as well, and hopefully it's also shared to my personal ID as well. And so I'm coming live on Facebook on AJV Global page, and I'm also coming live on YouTube and on two different channels. I'm coming live on my channel called Arun Jacob, which is my personal channel on YouTube, and then I also am coming live on the AJV Global channel, which is the official channel for our company. And so initially, this all those, and then of course I'm coming live on to all you beautiful people on Instagram, whoever is watching. So I have this combination of my laptop through which I use for coming live on Facebook and YouTube, and then I come live on Instagram using my phone. And so, big hello to all the followers on Instagram. I can see there are some followers on Instagram as well. So, yeah, we are trying very hard to create our digital footprint across various platforms and trying to, reach out to as many of you wonderful people as we can. So, anyhow, so that's the background to today's session. So, ask your questions. If you are an AGV student or client, please mention that, because then I can become all selfish and give you some fantastic answers. And if you're not an AGV client, please share your number, because we would like to be in touch with you and provide you with all the information that you might need about studying in New Zealand or migrating to New Zealand. And we would love to get in touch with you and have a chat with you. And for that, of course, we will require your number. So the rules are simple. You want my free advice, I will need your telephone number. So I think it's a reasonably straightforward deal. It is really. Okay, so moving on. First question is from Atif Iftikhar, and Atif says, "Good evening, sir. Hope you're doing great. I'm visiting Auckland next week, and I visit your Hamilton office regarding my skilled migration." Hey, Atif, absolutely. Warm welcome to come and see us in Hamilton, and we are planning to set up an office in Auckland as well shortly. So, in anticipation of that, we've already recruited one senior person, a senior manager, to come and join us. And she is currently undergoing training at the Hamilton office. And her name is Rena Thomas. So, once Rena completes her training in the Hamilton office, then we hope she will also get the license, like myself and Mary here in New Zealand, and she will then be, taking care of our Auckland office. So we intend to set up offices all across New Zealand, especially the larger cities. So yeah, but in the meantime, because Hamilton is the only office we have at the moment, Atif, please come and see us. Warm welcome. So there will be Mary, there will be Virginia, there will be Rena and Anjana and Nicholas. So we are all working out of the Hamilton office. I'm there sometimes. I mostly work from home, because I tend to work more with the Indian team. So my work actually starts in the evening. So by the time the Hamilton office kind of finishes its work and gets back home, but yeah, we're more than welcome for you. Please come and see us at the Hamilton office, and Mary will be there, and we'll be delighted to help you with your New Zealand migration queries. All right. Okay, so here's a question from AK Kumar Love from YouTube, and he's shared his number. So, and he says, "Sir, I want information about New Zealand farming job." Okay, this is an interesting question, because there is this slight myth that goes around. I think where it is sort of propagated that New Zealand will hire people who can come and work in our farms. Yes, we are a very strong agrarian country. We have a very strong agriculture background, and we do have constant shortages in our agriculture and horticulture, in our vineyards, in our farms, in our orchards, and various other places. So it is something that, yes, we require. And that is the reason specifically the government has come out, the immigration department has come out with a particular form of visa called regional shortage of skills, especially for the horticulture and the agricultural sector. But by and large, this is applicable for people who are already present in New Zealand. And the government has also introduced something called the working holiday visa, where people from certain countries and below a particular age and subject to meeting some other criteria can actually come into New Zealand and be able to work here and also have a holiday at the same time. So a lot of these young people from Europe and from South America and a few other places, they come into New Zealand and they come and take up these farming jobs or horticulture jobs. For people from other countries, I'm just thinking, Kumar, from your name that you might be from India or from the South Asian part of the world. So there are only certain countries where the working holiday visa is permitted by the government of New Zealand. For others, if you're trained to work in the farming industry here in New Zealand, then my suggestion would be that you need to be present in New Zealand and you need to have a valid work right. And one of the best ways and simplest ways to do that is to come to New Zealand as an international student because while you're studying, you can get the part-time work rights and during vacation you can get full-time work rights and once you complete your course of course depending on what level of course you study and which city you study in you might get 1, 2, or 3 years of post-study work visa. So yeah, though that's a possibility, but try to find a farming job directly in New Zealand while you're still outside the country is a very difficult task unless and until you're a very highly qualified agricultural or horticultural scientist, and then you reach out and you find a particular employment or opening in a place in New Zealand. That might be a possibility, but otherwise, by and large, it's very difficult, and which is where we advise that you will need to be present in New Zealand, and which is why we strongly advocate the student pathway. All right, so Kumar, thanks for sharing your number. Wait for a call from our team and have a chat. It's a no obligations chat. We have no we don't expect you to come to New Zealand just because you spoke to us. But do collect the information. You need to gather a lot of information because going overseas is a life-changing experience, and that moment is so important that you need to have all the information possible before you can make a conscious decision whether you want to do it or not, because it does involve a lot of money, time, and effort. So yeah, so have a chat with our wonderful AJV team. We have some superb people on our team. Just go to ajvglobal.com, which is our website, and if you click on the tab which says team, you will look at all the team members of AJV, and you can go through the backgrounds of each person, and you will see that we are an absolute super solid rock star team as far as New Zealand education and migration is concerned. So, okay, yeah, requesting all of you to go to our website and have a look at our team members as well. Okay, cool. Next question is from Sunil Kumar. Sunil says hi, and he says, I'm an AJV client. Hey, Sunil, thank you for choosing to work with AJV. Much appreciated. It is always a pleasure to, have say hello to one of our. So Sunil asks his question is, if we do 2 years masters, do we get PR? Easy. Good question, Sunil, because the way the residency now rules work for New Zealand is that there are two particular conditions that you need to fulfill, one or the other, not both at the same time. But so condition one is that you need to have a job offer in New Zealand, or you should already be employed in New Zealand. Or second condition is that you should have studied in New Zealand for a minimum period of 2 years and got yourself a master's or a PhD qualification. And of course, you still need to get 160 points, which is the current pass mark for being picked for the skilled migrant category visa. So yeah, that's what it is required to be done. Cyril, is either you need to have a job or you need to have an offer of a job, a genuine of a job in New Zealand, or you should have studied here in New Zealand for at least 2 years and got a master's or a PhD qualification. So from that perspective, yes, it will be a lot easier for somebody who's done a 2 years master's to be able to tick off that particular box and say, yeah, hey, look, I pass one of the most important criteria. But then, like I said, you will also require to have the 160 points, which will be a combination of your age, your previous qualifications, your work experience, if you're married, your spouse qualification, and so on and so forth. So that's the way it is. But having a 2 years master's is certainly an advantage. And if you're an AGV client, speak to your AGV advisor, and we will be happy to provide more information for you soon. But hey, look, thanks, buddy, for choosing AGV because, like all smart young people, you have many choices in your life, and you chose to work with somebody like AGV. For that, we are grateful for your patronage of our services, and we will stand by you while you are still outside New Zealand and after you reach New Zealand as well. Team AGV will continue to support you. All right, cool. There is a question from Abhinav Mishra. He says, "Hi, I am AJV. I think he means to say he's an AJV student. He's written AGV student, close enough, I guess." And says, "I have applied for student partner visitor visa 8 months back. Still my file not allocated. Now my partner has work visa. Please suggest me if I withdraw and file partner work visa from Hamilton." Okay, so Abhinav, if you have already applied for the visitor visa, we will check with the immigration department whether we can have it changed to a work visa because now your partner has completed her course, I'm thinking, and you have you're now basically eligible to apply for a work visa. So what we will do is we will check with immigration to see if it is possible because your application is already in the in process with Immigration New Zealand. So we will check to see if it is possible to change the application type from visitor visa to work visa. And if they say yes, it is possible to convert it from visitor visa to work visa, then we will have it changed. But instead, if they say no, it is not possible to change it from visitor visa to work visa, then yeah, it will make sense to withdraw the visitor visa application and apply for a work visa because obviously you are now eligible for a work visa because your partner has now got a work visa here in New Zealand. So my recommendation is that I'm presuming that your visa file was lodged either by Mary or by Tulika or Navya, who are all our licensed immigration advisors. So speak to whoever is the person who is your licensed advisor within HOB and refer back to this conversation that you and I are having and let them know, if it's Mary, let Mary know that this is what Arun suggests, and I will also have a chat with her. So yeah, I mean, if you're eligible for a work visa, we will write to immigration and ask if they can change it. And from visitor visa to work visa, I don't think there is a lot of difference between the the fee for visitor visa to work visa. So yeah, so my colleague Kulika confirms that we can actually convert and pay the additional fee. Tulika is an ex-immigration officer and also a licensed immigration advisor. So yeah, we will do that and request Immigration New Zealand. So also, because you've already been in the system for 8 long months, you will not lose the prioritization and the queue and stuff like that. So I think that's what we will do. So get in touch with Mary if she has been your advisor and tell her, hey, look, can you change my application from visitor visa to work visa, and we will take it forward from there. All right, Abhinav, thank you so much. And yeah, sorry about the delay. It's been a while since you've been yes, since you've applied and you're probably looking for an outcome. But hey guys, these are all government procedures. taken care of by individual bureaucrats, and sometimes we can't push them beyond a particular point. And somebody in our own team has been waiting for more than 12 months for allocation of the file of a particular visa. And so, yeah, it's a little unfortunate, but yeah, sorry about the delay that's happening. But yeah, we will change it around and change it from a visitor visa to a work visa, and there might be a small difference of fees that you might have to pay. All right, cool. So there's a question from Nirosh. I think Nirosh has been coming online for pretty much the last few sessions that I have done. And it seems like Nirosh is having some problems about the ANZ opening the FTS account with FTS standing for the Funds Transfer Scheme from ANZ. And it looks like Nirosh has done everything from his side. But it looks like ANZ has still not opened the account. And Nirosha's question is, can you elaborate what kind of accounts we have in New Zealand? Interest-bearing accounts and non-interest-bearing accounts, what are they? What accounts we can use for day-to-day banking, as FTS is only for AIP. That is all fine. So, yeah, Niroj, we have different kinds of bank accounts here in New Zealand. So there will be interest. I mean, by and large, most savings accounts would be interest bearing. But then within ANZ, I know there is one particular account called the Smart Saver account, which is also a savings account, but they pay a higher interest on it as compared to just your regular savings account. And so, yeah, I can't remember all the names of these different accounts right now. I have a few accounts with ANZ myself, and so also my family members. We all bank with ANZ, by the way. So, yeah, but like I said, yeah, there will be different kinds of bank accounts. If you're looking at gaining more interest, then I would strongly recommend that you open once you reach here. There is no hurry. You're still not in New Zealand. So once you come to New Zealand, I'm not a banking expert, so I can only talk as just another guy who has got an account with ANZ, just like another any casual customer of ANZ. So what I would suggest is once you get here, make an appointment with your local branch of ANZ and go have a chat and say, hey, look, I'm keen to set up a savings account or discuss your particular requirements as to what exactly you want. And of course, the FTS account is from where you will be drip fed your living expenses. So yeah, that's what you can do. And that's what I would strongly recommend because, as I reiterate, I'm not a banking expert, but yeah, please go to the nearest branch of ANZ once you reach, and I'm sure you'll get some expert advice from them. By the way, I'm going this week to meet some senior managers of ANZ because we are planning to get into a closer working relationship with ANZ because AJV, as you guys know, is growing stronger day by day, week after week, month by month. And we want to ensure that we have a good, strong relationship with ANZ and kind of streamline all these processes so that it becomes easier for our clients. All right, cool. Thanks, Nirosh. All right. So the next question is from somebody called Land for Sale. Good. It's sometimes funny the kind of names people have online. Land for sale. That's pretty fantastic for, especially if you're a real estate agent, I guess. So yeah, anyhow, Sir AJVN, hi, land for sale. Good to know, meet another AJVN. Hope you'll give me some real estate advice at some point. Missed this intake for graduate diploma in mechanical engineering due to loan delay. What all courses can I do in India before arriving in New Zealand? Like I'm thinking of forklift, CNC courses. Any suggestions? And a mechanical engineer. Hey, look, it's a very good background you have, and I'm sorry you missed your intake because of the delay in the loan. But hey, sometimes these things are all blessings in disguise. So yeah, it's probably a good thing that you're going to do your loan processing the right way, and then come in here at the right time with the right amount of loan that you require. So what I would recommend to you before you come to New Zealand, I think what you're planning to do is good. I'm not so sure about forklift because it may not be that useful, but yeah, absolutely, doing a CNC course would be fantastic. And doing a CAD CAM kind of a course would be fantastic because you're a mechanical engineer background. So I'd say it's a great idea to do CNC and CAD CAM and those kinds of courses because they will certainly add to your ability to be able to show more facets to your mechanical engineering side of things and hopefully make you more employable. So, yeah, all the best. Thanks for choosing to work with AJB. Now is the time I can reach out for my little board of. But I'd say, yeah, it's a very good idea to shore up yourself with some knowledge of other courses like CNC and CAD CAM, which is all going to add to your already good background as a mechanical engineer. So that would be my suggestion to you. All right. So, and for those of you who want to get in touch with us at HOE, that's how you get in touch with us. You can call us on these toll-free numbers that we set up in India and New Zealand, and also those email addresses. We are planning to streamline those email addresses and make it a bit more simple so that each time zone can reach out to the nearest office. So my recommendation to all of you who are trying to get in touch with AJV is reach out to the office closest to you, which is in your time zone, so that you can get immediate information and immediate responses to your queries. All right, cool. Vidush is saying, asks me, does Masters in Psychology have scope in New Zealand? And how much total points will be required for PR in psychology field for New Zealand? Okay, so Vidushi, the Masters in Psychology is certainly a very good choice because, to the best of my knowledge, and I shall hang on, I'm also gonna quickly check. I've been just going on and on without checking to see what my team has been posting for me because they tend to give some background information as well. Okay, nothing. There was some update about Nerosh, which I already answered. Uh, Sunil Kumar's about doing 2 years masters. I have already answered. Talika gave me some feedback about converting the visitor visa to work visa, so that has been answered. And my colleague Mubaraka has also posted something about another client. I will come back to that a little later, but right now at this point, there's nothing else I going to be doing. All right, at this stage. Right. So Vidushi, coming back to your query, yeah, absolutely. Doing a course in psychology rather, would be a fantastic thing to do because I do believe we have a shortage of psychologists in New Zealand at the moment. And so what I'm going to do is quickly check to see psychology. Yep. So in our long-term skill shortage list, we have a requirement of clinical psychologists. So it is there in our health and social services vertical, and we are looking for people who can be clinical psychologists here in New Zealand. And yeah, it is definitely mentioned in the long-term skill shortage list, which means that there is a reasonable amount of demand for psychologist, but again, it specifically says clinical psychologist. But having said that, there is always a demand, because as a true welfare state here in New Zealand, so welfare states are the ones who would take good care of the health and well-being of their citizens. So psychology, of course, plays a very key role in the health and well-being of any nation, and especially in a country like New Zealand, where we put so much emphasis on the well-being of our society. Yeah, psychologists would, yeah, coming to do a master's and psychology would be a great idea for you. And how much total points will be required for PR and so whether you do psychology or anything else, Vidushi, you will need to get up to 160 points, which is the selection criteria at the moment, to be able to apply for, not PR, because all of you, most of you tend to call it PR right away. Getting to PR is actually a two-stage process. You first get into you get something called a resident visa or an RV, and then once you have that resident visa and you fulfill certain conditions for about a couple of years, then you get something called the PR. So the difference between the residence visa and the permanent resident visa is that when you have resident visa, you will have restrictions on, traveling in and out of New Zealand and stuff like that. But once you get your permanent residency, you could potentially travel outside New Zealand for as long as you like, and then come back, and you will be allowed entry back into New Zealand. So that's the difference between the resident visa and permanent resident visa. So, in fact, when I got my resident visa here in New Zealand in 2001, so I waited 2 years till I got my permanent residence, and then I went back to India and set up a company to promote New Zealand as a destination. And I lived in India for quite a few many years before I decided I'm going to come back to New Zealand. So that's really the difference between a resident visa and a permanent resident visa. So you'll need to get up to 160 points. Well, when you get this 160 points, our team will get in touch with you, and one of our licensed advisors will do an analysis to see how many points you're going to get, and what's going to happen once you do your course in New Zealand and get a job. But hey, look, if you're a psychologist, we want you here in New Zealand, so please do come over, because we have this published list called the skills shortage list, and we are desperately trying to attract people into these particular fields and into these occupations. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so there is the next question from somebody called Cecil Christie, and she's Cecil. I think it's a him. Cecil writes, "My daughter is in Christchurch studying in diversional therapy. She has got job $20 to $23 per hour. What about PR? Please get again. There, like I said, PR comes later. So I think you're essentially asking me about what kind of chances she has got for a resident visa. So, Cecil, what we would like to do is please ask your daughter to give a call to our office here in New Zealand. So, we have set up a toll free number here in New Zealand, which is 0800 696977, or as we say here in New Zealand, 0800 696977. Ask your daughter to give a call to this number and speak to our licensed advisor, Mary. And Mary will do an analysis to see what is the job she has, because it's not just getting the $20 to $23 per hour, but we also need to understand if it is the position that she's in is recognized as the right level, and whether it is related to the course she has completed, and so on and so forth. So it does require a little bit of analysis by a professional licensed immigration advisor. So ask your daughter to give a call on 0800 696977 and speak to Mary. And yeah, we'll do a free assessment and let her know if she's eligible. We will tell her how much it's going to cost her if she wants to use our services. And I strongly encourage people who are trying to apply for visas to take the help of a professional advisor, a licensed advisor, because it's a life-changing moment, guys and girls. You don't want to mess it up to save a couple of $1,000. So, you might as well. I took professional help when I was applying for my resident visa back in 2001. I didn't foresee I was going to be a licensed immigration advisor myself, but I remember even back then in 2001, I took the professional services of an advisor. I paid good money to this person to ensure that my wife and I we got our residence in place. But yeah, it was it cost us quite a bit, but it was hassle free, it was tension free and stress free, and that advisor took care of all the correspondence and communication with Immigration New Zealand, and yeah, it was quite hassle free. Yeah, sure, it did cost us money, but that's what you've got to pay for professional services. All right, so Cecil, please ask your daughter to give us a call, and we will assess and let her know whether she's qualifying or not, and if she's qualifying, and if she wants to use our services, Mary can also advise her how much it's going to cost. All right, cool. Thank you. Right. Koshi says, how's the scope for accounting? Pretty good, Koshi. Every society, there are certain basic professions which cannot be wished away. Even if people want to wish them away, they can't, because there's certain professions which absolutely are required in any society. And so one of them is accounting, of course. And as I say, you also require priests and undertakers and lawyers, and accountants would absolutely fall into that list of skilled category of people who are required for any society or economy. The scope is pretty good. If you go to my YouTube channel, go to YouTube and search for Arun Jacob, and there should be, I'm certain there should be a video I have made at some point or the other talking about the scope for accountants in New Zealand. But yeah, the scope, as I said, is always pretty good. And while we are talking, let me see if I can quickly come out with some information for you, because we here at AJV, we like to give the most authentic information. And let me see what comes out here. Right. So if you are going to do a course, and so for accountants right now, the job opportunities are good. And it says that chances of getting a job as an accountant are good due to demand for experienced workers. And it says that accountants usually earn 55 to $90,000 per year, and the source is from Chartered Accountants of Australia and New Zealand and Hayes Salary Guide 2018. And Yeah, and accountants without CA, CPA qualifications usually earn 55 to $90,000 per annum, and accountants with CA, CPA normally earn between 76 to 202,000 dollars per annum, which is fantastic. That's a lot of money in a country like New Zealand. So yeah, that's what it says, and it also says the job opportunities are good at this moment. And what are the other jobs you can do in this field? Is that you could be an auditor, and again for auditors, the job opportunities are good. Or you could become an accounts officer, and the official careers website says that. Job opportunities for accounts officers are average at this point, but the job opportunities for auditor and for accountant is very good, especially if you have a CA or a CPA kind of a background. So yeah, I mean, and I do remember some of our clients who came to New Zealand to do a Master of Professional Accounting course here in New Zealand have found good opportunities. I can think of one of our students called Carol Pereira, who came and studied and did a professional accounting course from the University of Waikato, University of Waikato, which is not too far away from here. So yeah, she's still in touch, and we kind of know what's happening with her and her career. She found a job and she's moved on. But quite a few of our accounting students are doing well. So thanks for sharing your number, Koshi. And when the AJB team gets in touch with you, please have a chat, get some information, and then decide whether you want to come in and attempt the study plus settle pathway. All right. Ooh, the culprit for my coughing is my smoking over the weekend. I'm not a big smoker, but I do smoke a cigarette once in a while. Okay. Trying to check to see if I have missed any questions from my team. Mubaraka has asked me to mm, answer a question from Srikant Krishnamurti. And Srikant writes, Good day, AJV team. I would like to dedicate a couple hashtags today after having wonderful experience working with you, with your team so far, with plethora of information suggestions. And the hashtags are hashtag Ask AJV and hashtag Ask Arun and hashtag AJV Rocks. And hey, Srikant, I appreciate that, Matt. It's so cool when you guys come to the party and you get involved with the kind of work that we are doing, and we absolutely love what we're doing. And just the other day, I was having a chat with some of my senior colleagues, and I was like saying that perhaps the best thing that we have created in AJV is happiness, and I don't want to sound boastful about it, but I think we are a very happy company, and we just back each other. We just have loads of fun, and I think we all wake up to come and have a great day and do the best we can for all you young people who are depending on us for a life-changing decision like going overseas, and which is the reason we work very sincerely, because I say this very openly in all my live sessions. For us, your future is more important than our profits, because yes, we are a business. We need to earn money. We all, myself and my team, we all need to get our salaries to take care of our families and so on and so forth. But I promise you, we will not do it at the expense of your futures or by giving you bad advice or bad information. And which is why, no. Thank you so much, Srikant. And Mubaraka also gives me feedback that you already have your offer of place from University of Canterbury and EIT and Welltech, and you're also looking for an offer from SIT. All of them are very good institutions. Go through the papers in each one of these courses and see what jumps out at you and what kind of grabs you when you read these different courses. And yeah, that should get you to what you have to. But hey, look, thank you so much for those lovely hashtags. I especially like the hashtag AJV rocks. That's cool. Radio. So there's a question from Son Nguyen Huang. I'm thinking Son Nguyen is Vietnamese. Sounds very Vietnamese, the number. And he writes, Hello, sir. I don't know if it's a he or a her. Sorry if I'm getting the wrong gender. But the question is, Hello, sir. I've been in New Zealand for 1 year. I have 3 more years of university study here in BCom Information Science. Is there any chance which I can obtain permanent residence? Okay, so Son, the trick is, as I just mentioned earlier in my live session, you will have to complete your course and find yourself a job that is relevant to the course that you have completed. And not only should be relevant, but it should also be at the right level as per something called ANSCO, which is Australia and New Zealand Standard Classification of Occupations. And it's like a government register which sort of classifies all the different occupations, and of course you also need to get the right amount of salary. So you are a few years away because you're still a bachelor student, so I would say focus on your bachelor's at the moment, get done with it, and when you're in your last year, give us a call again 2 3 years from now. We are present in New Zealand, and you can call us on this number, or you can just connect with us on Facebook or on YouTube. We are present in all these particular places, and also on Instagram. yeah, you still have 2 3 years more to go. So it's a little early to be looking at the residence already because your first need to successfully complete your course. So yeah, I finish that and then come back to us, and we will certainly be able to guide you. All right, cool. Going back to Skype to see if my team has got anything else for me to answer. So Neha asked me, has posted a question from Jazz Kumar and says, and the question is, hi, sir, tell me graduate diploma in community healthcare and support level 7 is beneficial for study in New Zealand. And there are some comments from Neha, my colleague, fantastic advisor she is, this young lady, Neha Salian. And she's given some comments saying that you already have a Bachelor of Nursing 2018 and that your IELTS is pretty good. And you have some, a few months of work experience. And yeah, so if your answer question, Jazz, is whether it's a good idea to do a community healthcare and support level 7 in New Zealand, I think it is because a lot of our students who are coming for this course, and I hope you're coming to New Zealand as an AJB student as well, because it's important you get the right support once you come here into New Zealand. But yeah, it's like good course to do because we are having a reasonably big shortage at the moment of skilled workers, especially in the aged care sector. Because in New Zealand, as a country, a lot of our population is getting older, and a lot of them go to rest homes and old age homes, and so we require a lot of help in this particular area. So there has been a pretty good growth in this particular industry, and there is a shortage of people. And because you already have some background as a nurse, and then done something in physiotherapy, and now you're considering to come for a level 7 in healthcare, yeah, I think it would definitely be beneficial. All right, cool. And like I said, it's very important you come to New Zealand as an AJV student. If you're not coming to New Zealand as an AJV student, I promise you, you will regret it after you land here. Once you see the kind of support we provide to our students, and that's when you'll say, "Oh, I did a mistake. I should have gone to New Zealand through AJV." But so you still have the chance. Don't lose the opportunity to work with a company that will give you free and unlimited advice to ensure that you guys get to the desired destination that you want to go to. All right, cool. Okay. Next one, Vinayak Nilajkar. Hello, sir. And this is posted by Madhvi, my colleague. Madhvi is another fantastic colleague of mine. So Vinayak says, hello, sir. I'm an AJV student. Hello, Vinayak. Always a pleasure to say hello to our AJV student. And he writes, I missed out the Feb intake for Wintake due to delay in getting the loan approval letter. Now, can I use the same letter again for July intake? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't see any reason why you can't use the same loan letter, Vinayak. And if required, maybe you just have to get a small change done in it. But what Madhvi gives me as feedback in your case is that your visa was filed on the 27th of January, and that on the 17th of February, which is today, she spoke to Wintech, and they said they can give an extension to your place in their school once you receive your approval in principle. But overall, I don't think there is much of a problem, Vinayak, with using the same loan approval, as long as it's a genuine loan approval. And it's only a question of managing the dates from this intake to the next intake. I don't think it's such a big issue. So I personally think that we can sort it out for you. So continue to stay in touch with Madhvi, and we will deal with it one step at a time. All right. And my colleague Ruben, another fantastic advisor, he also gives some feedback and comments about Vidushi Singh's earlier comment about psychologists. And Ruben brings out the very valid point that psychologists require registration here in New Zealand, which I think I forgot to mention. Yeah, absolutely. Psychologists would require registration in New Zealand, there are certain professions like psychologists and doctors and teachers and lawyers and architects and so on and so forth, which require registration in New Zealand, and psychologists is one of them. Yeah, sure. And Ruben also gives additional information stating she would want to specify what major she would like to take. There is a postgraduate diploma at Waikato University, which leads to registration. It's a 2-year course. This is on the long-term skill shortage list. So, Midushi, if you're still there, if you're still following this live session, that sounds like fantastic advice to me from my colleague Ruben, because he says it's a 2-year postgraduate diploma, but it will give you the registration that you're required to practice as a psychologist in New Zealand. And the good thing is that this course is on the long-term skill shortage list as well. So yeah, fantastic research and feedback, Ruben. Appreciate that as always. You're pretty onto it in each and every live session that all of us do. But Vidushi, if you're still listening, I think that's the kind of course you might want to contemplate doing here in New Zealand. All right, cool. Nimesh Disnaika says hi. Hi, Dimesh. Hi, Bhavan. All right. Nimesh says, "Hi, Arun. You guys are going a great job. Will there be a policy change in this April 2020 in New Zealand? I don't know, Nimesh. I'm not the Minister of Immigration of New Zealand, nor am I part of Jacinda Ardern's cabinet, so I would have no clue. But yeah, immigration laws are dynamic, and there will be certain changes. But don't stress too much about policy changes, because at the end of the day, every policy will only mean one thing: is that we want to attract the best talent from around the world to come into New Zealand, and whatever policy changes happen, I can assure you that it will be pro good talent, pro good people, and pro competent people who can come and contribute to New Zealand. So don't stress about things which are beyond our control, which government departments and ministers take. But as long as you have the right skills, knowledge, and attitude, you'll be just fine. So not to worry about it too much. All right, cool. Right. Next question is from Pakshal Shah, and he says, "Can 1 year masters in analytics be considered for PR?" Yeah, but hey, look, any masters will give you points towards qualification, whether it is 1 year or 2 years. Of course, if you do a 2 years course and you are able to get up to 160 points, then of course it will sort of put you straight away into the queue for skilled migrant category resident visa application. But even if you're not getting the 160 points and you're ending up with a 1 year course in something as beautiful as analytics, because there is a pretty big requirement for people in this particular subjects and areas right now in New Zealand. So I'm quite certain if you do a master's in analytics, you will end up getting a good relevant job, and also at the right level of salary, which means you will get to the 160 points and you'll be able to apply for your skill migrant category. Thanks for sharing your number, Pakshal. And I think, yeah, we will get in touch with you. But like I said, it's not getting, your residency or your PR, as you guys keep calling it, is it's not an easy journey. It's going to be tough, and which is where you will require constant and credible information at each and every step. And which is why we say, hey, look, come work with AJB, because we are already 5 licensed advisors in the company. I think we're going to have 10 by the end of this year, if not more. And we will continue to give you, constant and ongoing immigration advice free of cost, till such a time you reach the point where you want to apply for the residency. So that's a true advantage that people have when they choose to come to New Zealand through AJB. And yeah, I think it's working really well. So far, I don't get any complaints from my students or from my clients. And you guys know how transparent we are as an organization. Here's the guy who started the company sitting and talking to you week after week, online, and in a live situation. And anybody anywhere in the world can get onto this chat and ask me questions. And if you're not happy, give us that feedback. We are more than happy to receive bouquets and brick bags because we don't claim to be the best in the world. We would like to get to that point, but yeah, at this point, I think we're doing a good job. So yeah, that's the reason I think if you guys are planning to come to New Zealand, you must choose a company like HME. All right, guys, cool. Okay, okay. Mahesh Madhavan asked me questions, but did not share his number, so I'm gonna skip that and move on. Okay, I already answered Jas Kumar's. Deepta asked me a question, no number, but it's a simple question, so I will answer it. Deepta Vimala Sena. Hi, Bhavan. Deepta says, hi, any limit apply for level 9 person? Nah, there's no age limit. Please come study in New Zealand. We want your international fees. So, absolutely no problem with how old you are. I already answered Vinayak. And Yunus, Afia, Asma asked me a question. No number. Yunus, I would have liked it if you gave your number, but your question is what are the requirements for a master's program in New Zealand? Requirement one, you will need to get a good IELTS score, 6.5 with no band score less than 6 in any of the subsections. I will just reconfirm and clarify that. Yes, you need require a 6.5 in IELTS or equivalent in PTE with no band score lower than 6. That is the main requirement to be able to get into a master's course in New Zealand. And of course, you need to have the right academic background. And if sometimes there is a requirement for getting having some work experience, that's also. But get in touch with us. You haven't shared your number, unfortunately, and get in touch with our team at AGV. And it's very simple to get in touch with us. You just have to call one of these numbers or use one of these email addresses, get in touch, or better still, just ping me on my inbox, in my inbox on Facebook, leave your number, and we will get back to you. All right? Cool. I have a feeling I'm already done. Oh, I didn't even realize. Okay, so there we go. That's my sign to say that I'm done with this today's session and ringing the bell to say, yeah, I'm done for today. I'm just trying to see if uh, anything I missed. Nothing. There's only one update from my colleague Nisha who says that Mahesh Madhavan, who I think just asked a question somewhere. Mahesh Madhavan. So yeah, I think Mahesh Madhavan's Mahesh, there is confirmation from Nisha that you have given your course confirmation and that the team is going to initiate the process right away. Okay, cool, excellent. Right, not too many questions here, but I'm going to quickly go through the last few. Pranav Subramanian says, hi, AJB client here, working with the advisor Jagrati. I'm having a hard time decided between psychology, health science, or health management. Is there a way I can contact with alumni or students? Yeah, sure. I don't see any reason why you can't do that, Pranav. But in my own personal opinion, I would say, health science might be a better option because it's a little wider. Health management, again, you need to be a bit more senior and have some kind of management experience. And psychology will require the registration, of course. But if you chose health science, you could potentially end up working in the health sector. Like I said, a lot of requirements in the aged care sector and those kinds of places. So I would recommend health sciences over the other two. Next one is from Pratibha Alawadi, who says, hello, Arun. I'm a client of AJB pursuing level 9 course already in New Zealand. My husband also received dependent visa. My son is in class 11th in India, will complete his 12th in India only. Okay, fantastic, Pratibha. Happy to hear your husband got his visa, and hopefully you will be reunited soon. And yeah, I mean, no problem if you want to wait for your child to finish his 12th in India. Yeah, good for good for you and good for him. But why don't you get him over it? Because why do you want to deny your son 1 year of his life while he's still growing up as a young student to spend in New Zealand? That will be my sincere advice to you. Reno Cletus says, "Hi, sir. For a fresh graduate BSc nurse from India, what is the best option for those kind of students who wish to study or work in New Zealand with no work experience? Of course, you will need to come here and do a course that will either get you into your registration for a nurse renewal or do a course like in health science and you'll be able to get into the health sector, especially in the aged care, which has recently been listed into our skill shortage list. So that those are the two options. You haven't mentioned your contact number, Renu. We would love to get in touch with you and work with you and see what is the best advice we can provide. So please share your number. Inbox me a number on Facebook. Just search for Arun Jacob and I'll pick it up and pass it on to one of my team members. Sohail Rana says, I need to going New Zealand. Well, Sohail, get in touch with us. You've shared your number. We will see if I can give you a call and we will examine to see if there are any possibilities or pathways available for you. Men, Janila, please, I want to know more about Masters in Accounting and Finance and Masters in Auditing programs in New Zealand. There is requirements specifically. Hey, man, I just answered it quite elaborately about somebody else who asked me about accounting, and I explained what are all the different possibilities. So go back into this live session and rewind it and listen to that. And there is a lot of information that I provided. It's also a sneaky way of making you watch this entire session one more time. But yeah, I did answer this question. Now, the requirements, of course, if you're looking at a master's, you'll require a 6.5 in IELTS with no score band, with no band score less than 6. So last one here, Mohammed Adnan Khan. I want to migrate to New Zealand. I'm a safety engineer. What's the process? Process is simple. Mohammed, you will need to send us your CV. Send your CV to I'm not sure which part of the world you're in, but if you're in India, yeah, just send the CV to that particular email address. And if you're not in India, you just send the CV to that particular address. And if you're married, I would also like you to send your spouse CV because then we can do an assessment and check to see whether you qualify for residency. Cool. So that was it, people. Fantastic session as always. Mondays are a little tough, but my team has very cleverly thrust me into this position of having to kickstart the weeks with my live sessions. And yeah, thank you so much, team. Yeah, I thought all of you love me, but yeah, you guys pushed me completely out of my weekend slumber and put me here in front of a live camera every Monday. But hey, look, jokes apart, I love my team and everybody else who joins this live sessions. Thank you for joining in, and till the next time. Kakite Ano from New Zealand. Kakite Ano is see you later. And Po Maria, which is good night. Take care.